Welcome footy fans, and here we are another sunny day. It's still summertime and looking forward to the 2013 season for the Mighty Blues. Getting time now to get it sort of warmed up to the season and looking at the team and what may happen and what may not happen. Look, it's all conjecture at the moment. I'm really satisfied though with the midfield of the team. Look, it sort of reminds me of 1970s when you had Cottogio, Keogh, Harms all running around there in the centre, and that was the driving room of our team. And we ran a lot of premierships in that period. We were a very hard and competitive side in that period because we had the running players. It was a different style of game in those days, but it was the game plan that we used, which has sort of set up, I think, today's current style of game. And of course, I've got to discuss the new coach, Mick Malthouse. Look, a fantastic track record, West Coast Eagles, Collingwood, and now Carlton. A man who is much in demand. The way he runs his team, manages his team, and operates within the club structure. He's a club coach. He's a man who develops the whole area around the team, dedicated totally to winning. I've actually been in the change rooms when he was coaching West Coast when they'd lost the game of football. And let me tell you, he doesn't like losing. He is a man who's dedicated to winning games of football, and that's what it's about. That's why he's a premiership coach. Now, some people say that, look, he has one fault, and that is his rigidity with his team plan, but his team plan does work. It is going to be an experience because he is not going to alter his team plan. Once it's set for 2013, that's what he follows. It is designed to develop a team that is going to win successfully and regularly and consistently in the future. There is some concern about the defence at the Carlton team. Look, and I think that is one benefit with Mick Malthouse. He was always known as a defensive coach. When he was coaching at West Coast, it was a very strong, dour, defensive unit. Had some sensational champions, Worsfold, Langan, but his team itself was so strong and powerful that he managed to create around that running and aggressive attacking team a really good defensive unit. So I think our defence is going to improve. Goal scoring and attacking, that's really where you win the game. The defence may protect your goal, may stop the opposition from scoring, but you still have to kick goals to win. And we do have a good goal scoring foundation at the club, I guess. There are many goal scorers, and I like a team that has 6 or 7 potential goal scorers in a team. Every week, if you've got 6 or 7 fellas out there who are noted for kicking goals, that gives you an advantage over the opposition because they can't mark 6 or 7 players in forward line. They have their structure and they have their plan, but it still revolves around making sure that a certain player doesn't score a goal. It's very hard to do the blanket approach because A, each team has the same number of players on the field, so unless you go man on man, which very few clubs do these days, there's all the zoning and the plans of working around cutting down the scoring options, and quite often they may man up of one player who's a full forward or a particular goal scoring option. But when you've got 6 or 7 players that are running around scouting the ball and can score goals, that gives your team a great advantage, and that I think is one of Carlton's big advantages this year in 2013. So with a good midfield that's going to be the engine room and drive the ball into the forward line and also move it when it's coming out of the back line, a good defensive coach who is a winning coach and not a dour defensive coach and abandoning the principles of kicking goals, but he will establish a good strong defensive unit. There is one thing that I would like us to improve upon, and I think is going to be the biggest battle for Mick as the new coach, and that is getting Carlton to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row. We can win 1 game, we can win 2 games, but it was stringing together a series of wins, 3 or 4 or 5, which puts you ahead of the pack and maintaining that. And if you can do that 2 or 3 times in a season, that gives you a huge lump of points. And those points on the premiership board, that's what gets you into the finals, that's what gets you into the final 8, and that's what gets you into the top 4. And that's that second chance which we desperately need, because the game is so hard, and attrition. Because the players physically have to maintain so much impact through the course of a season. You want them in the top 4 with that double chance. So hopefully that's what he'll work on, with their defensive unit being strong enough, the midfield driving it, there's goal scoring options, and it's giving that team attitude and that ability to be able to carry on and win 3 or 4 games in a row that's going to make our season so successful. So 2030 is looking good to me at this stage of the season. Sure, injuries, the way the game progresses through the course of the season is going to be a totally different thing when the real game starts playing. But it's nice to sit back here in the sunshine and know that I barrack for the best footy club in Australia. Go you Blues!
It's the Australian